All right. Welcome to the Moor Culture Podcast. Be back for another episode 2. I hope you didn't miss us.
Islam.
Islam. How you doing, Brother Sharif?
Islam, brother.
Islam. So, I'm going to start with my greetings because I want to make sure nobody's left out.
Indeed.
So peace to the Divine Family, Rahu Bat to the Nuwapians, Hotep to the Hotepers, Islam to the Muslims.
Assalamu alaikum.
Shalom. Assalamu alaikum.
And holy breath to all.
There you go.
Indeed.
Islam. So, the first episode was great. I felt like we had a good topic. What is the Moors? What is a Moor?
Mm-hmm.
I think we got our point across pretty well. And what's the second episode about? What we talking about?
Well, it's a lot, chaotic things going on in the world today, especially in our society. Pertaining to laws and who can do what, pertaining to, whether you're Euro descent or Asiatic descent. Sometimes in this country, our laws sway differently towards those two aspects of, the culture in this country. So,
Islam.
Go ahead, brother.
I think for everybody to get caught up to speed, I'm going to play a quick video because I know we might not all be caught up to speed, but this is kind of a recent news clipping that they're talking about, what's happened, and to get everybody caught up to speed, and we can get talking about what this means or what our thoughts on it are at least.
New documents detail what may have happened in the moments leading up to the stabbing death of a Frisco ISD student, Austin Metcalf. It comes as the community continues to really process what all happened. Tonight, our Aaron Jones speaking to a crisis counselor who is now sharing some advice.
The Frisco Centennial High School student charged with stabbing Frisco Memorial student Austin Metcalf has been transferred to the Collin County Jail. Arrest documents state 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony was sitting under Frisco Memorial's pop-up tent at a track meet Wednesday morning. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move. Then Anthony grabbed his bag, reached inside, and said, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." The documents say a short time later, Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. Later telling an officer at the scene, "I'm not alleged, I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to." Anthony's bond was set at $1 million. Legal expert Philip Linder weighing in.
If there is no evidence of the young man who died having a deadly weapon or threatening to do serious harm to this kid, then he has no business using a knife. And so there will be no self-defense claim that he could really urge.
Metcalf's father tells us his son's twin, Hunter, witnessed what happened that day and tried to save his brother's life.
I need my son back, but that's not possible. All I can ask for is just pray.
Arrest documents show more than 30 students and coaches are also listed as witnesses to the violent death.
There's a likelihood that there will be post-traumatic stress.
Veronica Seitz, a trained mental health crisis counselor, says anyone in need should be getting counseling to cope with their feelings.
So that they know and see and experience that they are not in this alone. Give them space to talk.
I think that we don't need much of that. So,
Can you go about the pheasant turbans to George Washington?
well, that was last week, Mo. So we're talking about this now.
But did you show it last week?
No, I didn't show it on the screen, but we talked about it. He's talking
If it can do that, inshallah, let's show that. Inshallah.
Islam. So
You don't have to show it, but inshallah, that's good news for our people to know, educate, because everybody else wants to educate us, right? It's time for people to enter the Moorish University of Science and Technology, in which we are the professors, and we start educating people.
Indeed.
Islam. So on this topic, Brother Sharif, I mean, what's your thoughts on what you heard about that situation?
Well, what's going on in the world today? It boils down to the divine right of kings or manifest destiny, where the Caucasians thought they were chosen by God to rule the rest of the world. And if you see what's going on, they come in the indigenous countries all around the world and become the law officials and stuff and take all the natural resources and the minerals, because as Noble Drew Lee said, we suffer slavery because we strayed after the gods of Europe in whom we know nothing. And when we stray after them gods, they can come in our land like Casper the Friendly, say, hey, my name is Casper, I'm your friendly ghost, but Casper will trick you.
Wow. So you got real deep with it,
Indeed.
bro. I mean, what you thinking, Cornell?
I'm thinking, back to what we just seen, the video, and the brother Sharik just spoke on, that's real deep. That's something we're gonna have to dig into and dissect.
We might get there after
Yeah.
some more.
But just real quick on what we just seen, that's the narrative in this country pertaining to, as far as laws and how they want to use the laws pertaining to certain individuals. First and foremost, I want to say, that's unfortunate that someone did pass away. Let's first put that out there. We are not, we are not a group that's ever going to say anything negative about anyone pertaining to what they believe in and so on and so forth, because we're all about uplifting. So first and foremost, I just want to say, that's a shame that, someone ended up passing away due to what happened. But facts have to be told, and then I'm going to speak on fact, right? Now, if the situation was different and you had two Asiatic brothers who tried to tell a European to move or to get out of a section that they felt he shouldn't have been in, I think it would have definitely went left, meaning the laws would have switched in the favor of the European, just because of the stereotype that we as brothers are aggressive, or we as brothers are always angry or always have an attitude. That's the perception in America for grown Asiatic men. And, it's a shame that it's like that, because situations like this, if you heard, they gave the boy $1 million bail. And he actually came to the cops and said, I did it. I was defending myself.
He didn't run.
He didn't run away from the situation as if he didn't do it. He came back. So honestly, he must have been startled of what happened. He realized what happened, and he manned up and he came back and he stated to the cop, hey, I told him not to put his hands on me, but he put his hands on me.
Indeed, and he's a child. Let's make sure it's clear that this is a child. There's another video I plan on showing later about something that happened not even a block up from where we are right now. And it just, the state of the children is troubling. And it's a big reason why we're doing what we're doing. And, he could have, I'm sure, the brother's name, I can't even forget it, obviously. His name is Carmelo Anthony.
I know that's what.
Carmelo Anthony just got inducted into this, the
Hall of Fame or something, right?
He just got inducted to the Hall of Fame this week, this right now, and now they're tarnishing his name with this situation. It's interesting. Wow, I'm just now connecting that as we're sitting here. So
media does that, by the way, too.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll make something that ain't connected. They'll connect it somehow.
Yeah. So, and this is what this is. This is our media. We have to make sure our voices are heard. Luckily, thank Allah, there is a lot of Moorish, Asiatic, Black media outlets right now that are talking heavy about our side of the situation, because there's two sides, and maybe it's three sides. There's our side, the other side, and then the truth, or the middle. I guess somehow we got to meet in the middle. However, when you only constantly hear the one side, the side of the quote unquote victor, the side of the quote unquote landlords.
Just like what Brother Sharif was talking
Yeah, that's
about.
what I'm saying. You know, so it's like what he's saying is right on point, because when they have and when it's their narrative, it's going to be an aggressive black boy attacking an innocent white kid. And the first video I seen, the first thing I heard about this was I seeing the young white kid, the young Euro American. I didn't see it, but his dad talking about his son holding his twin brother in his arms and him passing. And it was such a touching, situation. You didn't really know what happened. You just know he got stabbed in the heart. And this is another thing. They made sure it was stated. He stabbed him in the heart. He was stabbed in the heart. And the report supposedly is that it was just stabbed in the chest. I guess somehow maybe it did hit the heart, but it wasn't like he sucked out his heart and stabbed him in the heart. I'm sure it was just a startled situation. He lashed out. He made an action, and it was a one stab to the chest. It happened to be the heart, maybe. But the way the headlines are going, and then the picture of the alleged. I guess he said he's not alleged. You see the picture of him, and then they say what he did. Now everybody's jumping out the throat of it's an angry black boy. It's bad culture, all this kind of stuff.
When you're in my fault, Sharif, I just want to say this real quick. When you're in control of the narrative, you can make people believe what you want to believe, and that's all what media is. It makes you believe what they want you to believe.
Exactly.
So take for instance, this situation to me is like manipulation, right? They show you how the Asiatic brother reacted, but they won't give you the demonstration of what led to his reaction. They just say that he was told that he couldn't sit there, but they keep looking over the fact that the one European put his hands on the brother.
And that's where it keeps switching. At first, it was just a senseless act. They don't know what happened. And then it comes to light, he might have touched his bag. Okay. And then there's another comes to light, well, actually put his hands on him. It wasn't just his property. Supposedly he put his hands on him.
Right.
And there's a news article where the brother supposedly said, yeah, we pushed him, or my brother pushed him. Like there's people saying that. Now I'm seeing this is the first I'm hearing there's 30 people that saw it, 30 witnesses. Okay, well we need more of what happened.
This kind of reminds me of the story about the young brother that was in Atlanta. Yeah, he had dreadlocks, and they rolled his body up in the wrestling mat.
Yeah, and nobody knows what happened.
That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali wants us to come and do bounds of the law, because a murder charge is a big cash in. That bond is going to draw a lot of money, and they're going to go tap his bond and stuff to make that hustle. They got the secrets of making money off that bond, but it's hidden back from us. But we had to stop falling off our square. We need our own schools, right? So we can bring our children on the path so they won't be caught up into that world no more. Because we of Moorish American, we from a different world and stuff, and we're hated, but yet they still are named the mayors of the Moor, America, huh? Know thyself.
Who's lying? Man. So I felt like there's a lot more to say on this topic. But I want to show the other video as well, because it's just the troubled youth topic. It's the troubled youth a line of thought of like, I want to make sure that we're not we speak about that, because he probably could have handled that situation better. Maybe he should not have stabbed and killed that young child, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Hey,
we weren't there. We don't even know exactly what happened.
So
we don't even know what happened.
Exactly.
Tension.
But I'm gonna tell you this though.
Tension is building up around the country. Tension is heat.
Right. So
and
what's
that tension, right, sends different spirits, different ways, and them spirits jump on people to cause them to react in a certain way. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
So the narrative right now, and I deal with it a lot. I'm in the corporate world. The European right now thinks that he's back in control. And don't get me wrong, it is what it is when it comes to politics. In my perspective, the narrative that is right now is that, you know, Europeans think that because of the way Trump is moving as the president, that they can move the same way in real time. And let me tell y'all something, that's not true. I'm saying that's not true because you have brothers like ourselves that are right here, that are educated, that are willing to give our community what they need. So that narrative where it seems as if because President Trump is doing whatever he wants to do and no one can stop him, that's not true, y'all.
I'm sure them boys walked up and said, "Hey, you know Trump is in office, right? You better move this. You better move that seat, boy." That's what Steph said. Then, maybe the stab was, I don't know.
Another thing, I'm glad to be a part of the Moorish American Circle, 7th Circle, because that circle protects me from their world. So we're here to bring we're disciples of Noble Dry League. We're here to bring y'all back where y'all belong, from darkness and marvelous light into this world, divinely protected, divine protection by the Most High.
Right. It's a game.
Illusion.
So what people don't understand is that it's a game, you know. If you do not have the education that you need, if you do not have the tools that you need, you're going to lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we have the Moor Culture Center, because we got to get our people to understand that, yes, you got to learn how to play the game. Who knows why the brother acted the way he reacted? But I'm going to say, from my perspective, if it was me, I would have told them too, if you put your hands on me, there's going to be some trouble. I'm not moving from the seat that I'm in. You know, people forget we live in a free country. That means all nationalities are able to live free in this country.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
At a public school event.
Exactly.
And crowned by a good brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Exactly. So technically, you know, I could care less, you know, what nationality you are. It's the fact of mutual respect as a human being. You don't speak to people crazy. You don't act as if you can tell someone what to do. You can't do that. This is a free country. So, you know, like I said, the narrative that's going on right now in this country is that as a European, I can say what I want to say, I can do what I want to do, and no one can do anything about it. Because why? Because Trump is in office and no one can stop me.
Except
for Carmelo Anthony.
Except for Carmelo Anthony.
He
stopped it.
I was raised in the church and as a Christian, and until I came from darkness and marvelous light. And I love when the Bible says, "Thou shalt not covet thy brother's house," nor the neighbors, or anything that's in thy brother's house. So people need to get up out of our house trying to tell us what we should learn in school.
Islam.
Invaders.
Islam.
You know, I don't know what to say anymore. This is heavy. This is heavy. You know, shout out to the brother Carmelo Anthony. You know, all you know, high praises to that brother for what he's going through. I'm willing, Allah willing, he'll be fine. I believe that this is, you know, I think with the support of all of us, I think he's going to be okay. You know, he might do some time. He's doing time now, obviously, but I believe that, you know, it shouldn't be first-degree murder. You know, at the very least, like
manslaughter.
You know, from my understanding, first degree is like a premeditated thing. I don't believe the brother went there looking for any trouble.
Exactly.
Mind you, this is a rain delay. This is why he was underneath the tent. These Euro Americans came over and said, "Hey, you're in the wrong place." He's like, "Well, it's a rain delay, and I'm just standing underneath the tent. You don't own this tent. This is public school. You know, to tell somebody to go or to move is highly disrespectful, like you're saying, Cornell."
Indeed.
So, you know, I believe that, you know, more light is going to come to light, and I think he's going to be okay when it's all said and done, because the truth is the truth, and we're standing behind the brother unless there's more evidence to come out to show that he jumped up.
He was trespassing. He had to been trespassing, and I mean, I don't see nobody pass. So forth and so on. I wish the America would come up. You know, America can be great if we learn how to live on our higher self. You know, because when you're on higher self, you walk in with the law, and law's no respecter of person.
Islam. I just want to make clear too, because I brought it up, but we cannot forget that we are all citizens of this country, right? We make what we want to happen, meaning we are the individuals who vote for the laws. We are the individuals who state what we want for our country. And I think we forget that.
Not only that, my brothers and sisters here in America better act like they know, because Africa is on the rise and their natural resources and minerals is needed by the world. And so you just don't go in and cause terrorism, call this person terrorism, overthrow the government, so forth. No, it's time for everybody to get their self in order. And I'm talking to all of us, right? Because we are the human family. We can grow the higher heights unknown and have a beautiful time right here on earth.
Islam.
Shout out. When you say that, obviously, I know you're talking heavily about the brother from Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore.
Wow, he's a powerful brother. I'll be saying to myself, I wish that was my son, because I'm old enough to be his pop, right? But he's valiant, he's strong. We come from a line of warriors and stuff, so we don't want y'all to get it confused, right? Stop poking the bear.
Yeah, but we got to let everybody know, too, because our people believe that we are second-class citizens, and we're not. First and foremost, let's just throw that out there, all right? We got to get that narrative out of our head that we are second-class citizens. We are not second-class citizens. And this is the whole reason why we're setting up this center. That's the whole reason why we're putting this movement together, to let everybody know, especially our Moorish brothers and sisters, that you are not second-class citizens.
Can you Google the 1928 definition of Native American? What's your dictionary?
So when you run into situations where you have to defend yourself or you have to protect yourself pertaining to law, don't be afraid to do that, okay? Because let me tell you, they definitely are going to. So this is what this movement is all about. We want to make sure that our young brothers and sisters know, as well as the older brothers and sisters know, that they are not second-class citizens. Just because someone wants to talk to you recklessly, just because someone wants to throw some derogatory names towards you, does not mean that you have to accept it. And it does not mean that you have to be afraid to step up and speak up for yourself. Islam? I just want to put that out there, because there's a great thing called the Constitution, okay, Islam, that every human being in the United States can refer to, because that's what controls this country, okay? Islam.
And every man has their fallibilities. But it's time for America to clean up and be an example for the world. A lot of people looks up to America. It's time for America to take leadership, not with white supremacy, so forth and so on. But certain people in America got to behave, because they're being exposed before the world and stuff. And that I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Indeed.
Islam. So, Brother Sharif asked me to look up. I couldn't find that. I found the somebody saying
1928.
I found 1828 definition of American.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, the 1828 Webster Dictionary definition of American was a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans.
Islam. Read that again, Mo. Read that again, because they probably didn't hear you.
American. A native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America.
Islam. And that goes back. The Moors, the Mayors, they're telling the whole world that they're the Mayors. We're from a royal family. Mayors, Moors tie into Lemuria. Mu.
Indeed.
So,
copper colored. Islam. Yeah, we talked about that in the last podcast.
You dropped that gem already, Mo. You dropped that gem.
Right.
We dropped it. We'll post it. We'll post it to page 2 so you can see about George Washington talking about the fezzes and the turbans.
Yeah. So this is the Moorish American Federation. This is the greatest movement in the country. This is a ship, and Law's the navigator of that ship. And you can't go wrong if you get aboard this ship, because Satan's times declared out that lies, the propaganda, and all that, so forth and so on. We come from a royal bloodline, the Moors, the Moors.
Indeed. But we also got to be clear, too, about, history, because this country did have a civil war, right? And that civil war was about what? Now, I'm just asking because we got a podcast, but we need to understand, or we need to give the information out to why that civil war happened, right? Everybody thinks that the narrative is because of slavery. That's not just the reason why the Civil War happened, Islam. And
wake up, because really the Civil War is still going on now through the Democratic and Republican Party.
Indeed.
Know thyself, know your status, because they're calling you black and they're calling themselves white. That's improper grammar.
Indeed. So we got to understand that, the Civil War was about making sure that the country was one, right? Making sure that America was actually America, being united, right? You got to understand that those Europeans during that Civil War who did not want to be a part of the Union, they were not considered citizens, Islam.
And the Bacon Rebellion, looked at Bacon Rebellion up, and it tells how the rich Europeans played the Irish.
That's right.
Against the slaves. That's where the police were created as slave catchers, so forth and so on. But the Irish was in a struggle with the slaves at first. But now, being that the economy is gone in different ways and stuff, you got to come back together again in goodwill. Peace on earth and goodwill towards men. That's what Jesus said. This ain't nothing about we should be violent. If you got the love of Allah in your heart, that ain't time to be violent. Time to come up to the higher self. Be at one with Allah.
Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Islam. So real quick, I'm gonna play this video of these two young brothers, man. It really bothered me and upset me seeing this video.
It's right down the street too, by the way.
This is a hop, skip, and a jump. We can look out the door and turn heads and see this bus stop. And shout out to, I found this video on my timeline. Who posted this? A brother named Keith Murray. He caught this. Man, Keith Murray. So let me.
You got these names.
I know, right? You got Carmelo
Anthony,
tonight.
Keith Murray.
We got a star-studded lineup tonight on the podcast. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this.
Yo, man, y'all got chill.
In the name of the Lord. I'm about to roll this weed and blow this fucking tower screen. Fuck this.
Wow.
First of all, he's talking to an old woman, and the first thing he's saying is B word, something B word. When they call it a whore, is what he called it. He said whore. Then he's talking about the roll this tree. These are look at this brother. What is he? 12?
He might not even be 12. He might be like 10 or
10 or 11.
No, man, chill the fuck out. Y'all bugging, yo. Yo.
Because it just popped up.
Yeah, okay. What are you doing?
Wait.
Who is that, his mom?
Is that his mom? Beauty kid. Oh, don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone. Don't touch my phone.
You know what?
Back up. I'm not doing nothing until you get the fuck out of my face.
Oh,
Yo, police!
oh shit. Oh shit.
Come here! Yo, come here! Come here!
Customer right by.
He's not the police ain't here.
It's just ignorance, man. All that right there is just ignorance, man.
Elijah 12. Come on, bro. No, bro, they're not doing nothing. They're not worried about her. Nah, never mind.
You better, bitch.
They about to leave. Why you just here with this girl?
See,
She said we gonna die.
Y'all keep fucking with wrong motherfuckers.
She got an ankh on too. You see her? She got the ankh on.
wow.
She got an ankh on, talking reckless too. Not to completely defend them or anything, but it's like everybody needs to pull themselves together. She's an elder.
And heaven and hell is a state of mind, and we had to go back to the state of mind of our forefathers to get rid of this stuff here.
That's not how we should be speaking to these young brothers, even when they're acting like that. And this is once again why we're here. I pray for the day I come across these brothers, out front at this bus stop, so we can chop it up. We need to bring them into here. Hopefully on Saturday, April 12th, we'll see them walking by. We can pull them in, show them some books, show them some literature, show them the light, because this is the darkness.
I was coming to speak to your mother yesterday.
I already recorded her. Shut the fuck up. We're not even out past. We're at the bus stop right now. On 6th Street, 6th and King. Fucking crackpot. Bro, just stop saying stuff to her, Elijah. Shit's gonna get worse, bro. Fuck.
What, you smoking a blunt?
We.
How old are you, bro?
Alright, Mom. I'm about to catch the bus. This old lady. I don't fucking know who she is.
What the?
You need to try to respect somebody, motherfucker.
Ain't nobody did nothing to you.
But
Get
you
the
see
fuck
how
out
he
my
speaks
thing.
to his mom? His mom allows him to speak to her like that.
He's talking exactly. She needs to get her in here too. We need to get all these modes up and down the street in the center. Get some culture, get some more culture, and not this.
I really feel bad though, because even though that was put out, I feel bad because they're young. You know what I'm saying? I think the brother who was videotaping this should at least try to talk to the brothers, like try to diffuse the situation.
Yeah.
I would have. Me personally, I wouldn't have videotaped that. I would have really tried to handle them two brothers. I would have took the one brother off of the ledge that was rolling up. I would have already brought him down, and then I would have got the young brother, and I would have talked to them individually and explained why they shouldn't have been doing what they're doing and how to handle themselves.
Islam.
I ran into a situation where I was in Wawa, and I had a young brother who was cussing out the European lady behind the desk who was making food. I couldn't believe what this brother was saying to her, though. He was calling her all types of Islam. I ain't trying to use cuss words, but I'm going to say what he said. Everything but a name, Islam. Thank you, Sister Haj. The brother was saying everything but her name. And I caught wind of this, and I turned around, and I said, excuse me, brother, you shouldn't be talking to her like that. I said, first of all, you ain't even put your order in. So how you going to yell at her and tell her what she need to do and what she can't do and what you don't want her to do? And it just so happens that the brother was like, I say about 16 years old. But I spoke to the brother personally, and he came back to me while I was still in the store, while I was waiting for my food, and he said, thank you, brother, I appreciate that. So it's not that they don't know that what they're doing is wrong. They just need some correction in their life.
Islam.
And see, the way that young brother was speaking on that phone that we just seen, that's the parents' fault, man.
Islam.
Why?
You heard him on the phone with his mom, but I really wonder where his dad's at.
Indeed. I'm mad. Yeah.
That's the recording? Nah.
Man.
Yeah. We gotta know if anybody knows. No, seriously, if anybody knows that child, please
that's
comment.
a shame, man.
Please send a DM. Come by the center on the 12th. We're not trying to. We're not trying to hurt him. We're not going to lash him. Or not doing it like that. It's just but he do need a tongue lashing. He needs to hear it. He needs to hear the truth. He needs to.
He need guidance, man. They need guidance.
Both of them.
First of all, what they doing at the bus stop in the daytime? Was that the weekend or what was that? I hope that wasn't a weekday because they should be in school. Why they asses ain't in school? Excuse me, Islam.
Yeah, that was the 12th or the 2nd. So that's the same day as the incident. I think in Texas. That's the 2nd. That was last Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a weekday. Why them brothers ain't in school?
They rolling up. That's crazy.
I just don't understand.
He's like, yeah, but the road is tree. He just bold about it, and it's like, man,
we waiting on the bus, man. What y'all doing at the bus stop? Y'all should be at school. Hey, we don't. I don't know what they got going on, but I'm gonna tell you that my wife is a teacher, right? She deals with this. Well, she used to be a teacher. Think a lot now. She's a instructional coach, Islam. But
same thing.
Same thing. She deals with this all the time, and she tries to instruct the teachers on how to properly deal with the children, because there's a lot of brothers and sisters in the school that my wife is an instructional coach for, and there's several teachers who just don't know how to deal with the children. So instead of actually trying to correct the child or actually trying to speak with the child and teach the child of their ignorance, they'll actually just say, you know what, he's a hoodlum or he's a gangster. I don't want nothing to do with him. And they'll actually try to make it seem as if like the children are in cahoots and forming some type of gang in the school or something just because they don't know how to properly deal with the child. But when my wife come around or one of her colleagues, that are also an instructional coach, they handle the children right away. There's no problem. So it just goes to show you that, depending on what narrative you want to go with as far as an adult and how you want to perceive a child is how you're going to also disrupt that child. Because take, for instance, you might see the child being ignorant, but instead of giving that child the proper information on how to handle themselves, you're just going to quickly already offend the child by saying, oh, because you don't want to listen, you a hoodlum. So now the child said, oh, the teacher done called me a hoodlum. Now the teacher told me I'm a gangster.
I'll show you.
And they going to show you.
Yeah.
Oh, they going to show you. But that's the point. No, indeed.
They still do.
They still do.
Definitely, they definitely still do. They definitely still do.
And they're trying to initiate a lot of
Yeah.
Islam. So, this is why, once again, this is why we're here, the Moor Culture Center. We also are the home of the Noble Drew Ali Jerome Graham Bay Institute of Higher Learning.
Higher learning.
So, these kind of children, all kind of children, send them our way. We have curriculum. We have programs where we are, providing activities and curriculums that are going to raise them up and keep them out their lower self. We gotta try our best to raise up for real as a community.
We have to show our children who they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to just keep playing this. It's okay. You can be a basketball player. It's okay. You can be a rapper. It's okay. You can just be this. Just be that. See, our youth right now thinks that they can only be three things: basketball, sports person, musician, and or singer,
This is the resurrection day, which our parents used to talk about an old-time religion.
Yeah.
Time to bring them from darkness into marvelous light. That's the real baptism.
But our youth, especially the brothers, think that it's only about being a gangster. It's only about music, rap music, and athlete, being an athlete. So that's we have to change that. That's what this Moor Culture Center is about. You can look at brothers that look just like you that have fezzes on, and you can inquire what that's about. You can look at brothers like yourselves and say, wow, he holds himself to a different standard. These young brothers and sisters, they don't have anything in front of them to see on who they should be and what they should be.
Islam. Last week, we met with a brother that's he's a high in the corporate world, but he wants to really come and help with resume and job interview skills and things of that nature. So, this is where you need to be at. We're gonna that will be out there and promoted, but bring yourself, the parents, and bring the youth to learn how to be a productive member.
American.
Productive American for real. That's exactly what we are, Mo. No question about it. That don't let them steal that term. They swear when they changed the term to the Gulf of America, everybody was so mad. I'm like, what's wrong with the Gulf of America? It's America, right? Aren't we American? Aren't you American?
Right. And I also want to say that too, because people gonna hear what I said and be like, oh, because I said what I said about Trump and so on and so forth. Now listen, there's two sides to this, okay? You got the one side that people think whatever Trump does is correct, even if it's wrong, right? But then you also have the side where he may be doing some things that are correct.
And
you understand what I'm saying?
He signed a land trust fund, and I heard some more about it. But the land trust fund means that Social Security and all that might be done away with, but we get a check from the resources of this land, which is lithium, oil, et cetera, et cetera. We'd be millionaires. That's what I don't know.
Right, I don't know. Right.
But I think something's. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's unpredictable. You can't judge. Sometimes you got to sit back and observe.
So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the Europeans today want to follow everything that this guy is doing and think that everything that he's doing is correct. But what they don't understand is that he's also playing them as well, right? So he may do certain things to a certain extent, and then he brings all these people that are into it, and then now all these people are getting held accountable because they wanted to follow what he was leading.
But he's for the oligarchs.
You know what I mean?
The oligarchs is the 1% billionaires.
You just got to pay attention and stop feeding to the media. Know law, right? Know the Constitution, right? And be a productive citizen. That's all it's about, you know?
Allah means all law.
Indeed.
There's land. There's land.
It's land.
So as we start closing out, can we switch out? You want to drop some knowledge on? Yes. Go ahead, Mo, please.
Glorify the name of your garden, Lord Most High, who's created further, given order and proportion, who has ordained laws and granted guidance, who bringeth forth lustrous green pastures and make them swarthy and supple. By stages and degrees shall we teach you to declare this message so that thou will not forget. We know what is manifested and hidden. We shall teach you the path that is simple. Therefore give admonition in the case of admonition, profit to hear. Those who fear Allah will receive admonition, but it will be avoided by those most unfortunate ones who will enter the great fire. In it they will neither live nor die. But those who are prosperous, who will adore the name of their God and Lord, and uplift their hearts in prayer. Nay, you prefer to like this world, but hereafter is more enduring. This is the book of early Revelation, book of Abraham, Moses. I like that surah, Allah the Most High, because it says by stages and degrees shall we teach you to declare this message that you will not forget. And right now our people's divided and from this group and that group, all that's our history. And we have men of understanding got to learn how to stop lashing out at each other and stuff and make that knowledge universal to start our university. So, inshallah, we'll be starting here. Right now it's the Moorish University of Science and Technology. If you want your children to learn how to recite light, the way you just heard me recite and more, because we are the light of the world. We're going to light up the world with the Quran, the Bible, all that. We're going to change the world because a lot of people ain't living it. We're going to teach your children how to live it because they said they're turning the education back to the schools. Well, the schools, education back to the state. Well, the Bible says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. We've been letting people cover our house for years, coming and teaching our children about who we are. They don't teach about when we ruled Spain for 800 years and Andalus, et cetera, et cetera. They don't teach about when we civilized people from up out of caves and taught them how to take a bath. We got light in this house. Send your children to this university. Help us raise funds and stuff. This is the new America. Islam.
Islam.
One more thing. Purpose driven. Once you know your purpose, there's nothing that can stop you. Islam. Right. And see, to my brothers and sisters, please listen to me.
Come on, Asiatics.
You are going to go through trials and tribulations, right? But your purpose is what's going to get you out, and you're going to shine like a light.
and we together can shake them off.
Islam. People are going to hate you because you're going to know your purpose. Don't ever let them push you off of your square. Islam.
Now we're going to segue into, I feel like I need to find another word. I keep saying segue. I don't like that. I don't even know what that word means. I don't even know what that came from. But now we got
Grand Governor.
Grand Governor, brother.
You hear that voice? Hear that blog talk voice?
Damn, brother.
He came on with the
Sound like Barry White out here.
radio voice. Welcome to the podcast, Mo.
Thank you for having me.
Islam.
Hot topics tonight. I'm just listening. I was on the background for the last one, but hot topics, man. Forgive me. Get prepared for the grand opening.
April 12th.
Yes, sir.
So what's this? Tell the people what the significance of us choosing the 12th. Because there's a reason why we picked the 12th.
Yeah, well, the 12 falls on what is significant to us here at, the Moor Culture Center. We've been established for a while, but it's been a long time coming where we've been able to, put our feet in the ground, so to speak. We be able to, get up some of those roots that we seen earlier today. Some of those weeds that are in the community. And so us just trying to put our touch on it. We've been a long time coming. We've been in the area for a while, officially receiving a charter to practice and propagate and teach and do all the things that we're doing now around like April 9th in 2023. And so since way before then, but since April is so significant to us, and this weekend is so significant to us. It's really just to commemorate our grand opening here, but it's also a celebration for us individually because we're about 3 years old, So, we've been in the community. Again, I can't even talk about it, but I'm going to say what's on record when we officially incorporated within the state of Delaware. So that will be 3 years as a federation. And the Moorish culture is one of those babies that, it's just growing fast. Moor Culture Center is just, it's like a lovely fresh air, lovely breath of fresh air, I'm enjoying it, Again, we've been here, we ain't going nowhere, but now we here to stay.
So, yeah. What's the significant, like, the charter? The first time you showed me the charter, I was like, wow, that looks official. It was just official. It was like government issued. It was sealed and stamped. And stuff.
Yeah,
it was like,
that's right. That's right. Well,
explain what the important, like, why it's so significant. This that.
Yeah. Well, the charter is a corporate charter.
Okay.
And so, a lot of the people who are law heads, like, study law, they should understand the RCA Act, us having our authority, which come back from Prophet Noble Ali back in Chicago, Illinois, and that's all the way from 1928, So, as that was established for him to propagate and teach in his fashion at that time, when we just coming out of slavery was just coming out of sharecropping days, so imagine the work that he had to do. But yet and still, all that was given to us, and the reason why we have the charter today is the fact that to show the authority and the power that we have within our state. And so, again, all power and authority is in my hands, said the Lord. So he was giving that power and authority to you. He said, what I can do, you can do greater. And so we're doing great things. But yeah, with that charter gives us an understanding where we are trying to reach certain degrees. We're trying to, do certain things, but the charter gives us an opportunity to be, we'll say the word, unmolested, practice unmolested. And so, nations of the world respect certain things. It's called a Magna Charta, something along those lines. Again, those who study, you know where I'm going. But again, it's just like a ship. A ship is chartered, anything as far as in significance of being important, it has a charter date. And ours has just happened to be April 9th.
Islam. We 2 days away.
That's right.
We're 2 days away from Charlie.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I just want to speak on some of the things that we've done in the past charter days. And we had conception days, resurrection days. We had all kind of days, right? We find any day to teach, right? Mm-hmm. But what we've done on those days have been so impactful in the community, so much that we received tributes for those things, so much that we received proclamations from city officials, state officials. And, you know, again, we're not doing that for that. However, it's just an added piece. So, yeah, I can have all these, you know, proclamations, tributes, and all that. But what was the most important piece of paper that I received 3 years ago was the charter.
Charter.
And so that was, you know, that was like, you know, they well done.
Icing on the cake.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, shout out to my main man, the Sergeant at Arms. You know, 3 years ago, little known fact, that's when he joined. And, you know, he was the first person to be nationalized, you know, during that time, you know, in receiving the charter. Indeed. And so some of those same faces we're going to see, you know, we love them. We're going to, you know, they're going to come celebrate 3 years in. 3 is a very powerful number. Mm-hmm. I don't have to tell you that. But we're working on vibration. When we get to 4, then there'll be another celebration. Mm-hmm. But what we used to do and what we will do and continue to do is give out to the community. So, yeah, just seeing some of those videos is disheartening. And again, it is bittersweet because I'm going to bring some more remembrance to those who know. When we received that charter, wouldn't you know it was an incident that happened outside with some youth? Mm. You know, youth was outside jumping on each other, fighting each other. Mm. And, you know, the situation was so impactful, you know, for us to say, we're here. What are we going to do? And so, you know, it was a deep day. But, you know, praise Allah that no one was hurt that day. You know, we was able to interject. We was able to stop any violence that could have possibly happened. We was able to make sure those young men were safe. And we also tried to give them some nurturing in them.
Come into the temple.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to keep on doing that. You know, you can't stop, won't stop.
So, all right. I think we're good. I mean, any parting thoughts, anything that's been on your mind recently, Moish, you want to let out to the people, either one of the Mo's?
I just want to say, come all you Asiatics, that you may hear and know the truth, that you're not Negro, black, and colored. That's a conspiracy used to put you on the cross. And I like to let y'all know that I thank Allah for all that He's done for me, brought me from the state of civil elite to more toots, in which I was acting like a black man. Mm. And so this Ramadan I just passed through was one of the greatest times in my life because Allah revealed something very special to me. And I want everybody that know that when you say your prayers, you're in the formation of Allah's army. And Allah's leading on, and victory's assured. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, I'm just going to camel back off of my brother. You know, it's our time. You know, he said it last week. He said it this week. It's our time for us to show up and show off.
Listen, I'm gonna post that every week. Like, once a week, I'm gonna repost that. Just be prepared. Once a week, I'm posting that same clip on our Facebook.
So I say to the President of the United States of America, in respect to his office, yeah, the states are ready to take on that responsibility, teaching our children, teaching our own community. It's our time.
Islam.
All right, let me. Islam.
I'm done, Mo.
All right, we done. Signing off.
Man, peace.
Peace.